good. It's a good learning and growing experience.
I think I become more responsible and determined and driven.
To me, how it changed, basically just stepping foot in the UK already changed my life. I met different people, the diversity of people you meet, the experiences you learn, the type of jobs I've been. You just learn from every step. You learn to be independent because mom and dad's not around.
If that's the opportunity, grab it, because once you get here, there's a lot of opportunities.
To me, I think it's about being positive. And if you're scared about taking that step to actually move abroad and have these different questions in your head, saying, oh, what if this happens? What if I don't pass? What if I don't adapt? And then just think about what if it works? Because moving abroad, you learn different things. You are out of your comfort zone, and you have to do things your way. You learn to be independent, make your own decisions, be your own person. You apply for a job, and then you just do things yourself. You learn to express yourself in your purest form.
Yeah, if you come here with an open mind, I think, and if you give it a chance, you'll know pretty quickly if it's for you. But do give it a try, because potentially it could be, for lack of a better word, life-changing.
Can someone pass me a pen?
Sure. Can you pass this to Stephen?
Of course.
Thank you. That's really nice, guys. Not the 8th time we've done it already.
Is that for the presentation? Pwede pa send naman ng pic na ito-drawing natin.
Ito, sige. I'll send to the GC. And sent. Ayan na.
Got it. Thanks, so.
Sorry about that. Just testing the music. Is the volume good? Yeah, sounds good. Okay, do I send the link to Pat now?
Yeah, go ahead. Video's off, everyone.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Happy first Zoom meeting, Pat!
Pat, you're muted.
Oops, sorry.
moving abroad, you learn different things.
Hi.
What we're really trying to do here is to give Filipinos a chance to graduate the foreign degree.
Do give it a try. It could be life-changing.
Happy birthday, meeting back!
But it's good. It's a good learning and growing experience.
I think I become more responsible and determined and driven.
To me, how it changed, basically just stepping foot in the UK already changed my life. I met different people, the diversity of people you meet, the experiences you learn, the type of jobs I've been. You just learn from every step. You learn to be independent because mom and dad's not around.
If that's the opportunity, grab it, because once you get here, there's a lot of opportunities.
To me, I think it's about being positive. And if you're scared about taking that step to actually move abroad and have these different questions in your head, saying, oh, what if this happens? What if I don't pass? What if I don't adapt? And then just think about what if it works? Because moving abroad, you learn different things. You are out of your comfort zone, and you have to do things your way. You learn to be independent, make your own decisions, be your own person. You apply for a job, and then you just do things yourself. And you learn to express yourself in your purest form.
Yeah, if you come here with an open mind, I think, and if you give it a chance, you'll know pretty quickly if it's for you. But do give it a try, because potentially it could be, for lack of a better word, life-changing.
Can someone pass me a pen?
Sure. Can you pass this to Stephen?
Of course.
Thank you. That's really nice, guys. Not the 8th time we've done it already.
Is that for the presentation? Pwede pa send naman ng pic na ito-drawing natin.
Ito, sige. I'll send to the GC. And send. Ayan na.
Got it. Thanks, so.
Sorry about that. Just testing the music. Is the volume good? Yeah, sounds good. Okay, do I send the link to Pat now?
Yeah, go ahead. Video's off, everyone.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Happy first due meeting, Pat!
Pat, you're muted.
Oops, sorry.
moving abroad, you learn different things.
What we're really trying to do here is to give Filipinos a chance to graduate with a foreign degree.
Do give it a try. It could be life-changing.
Happy birthday, dear Pat!
But it's good. It's a good learning and growing experience.
I think I become more responsible and determined and driven.
To me, how it changed, basically just stepping foot in the UK already changed my life. I met different people, the diversity of people you meet, the experiences you learn, the type of jobs I've been. You just learn from every step. You learn to be independent because mom and dad's not around.
If that's the opportunity, grab it, because once you get here, there's a lot of opportunities.
To me, I think it's about being positive. And if you're scared about taking that step to actually move abroad and have these different questions in your head, saying, oh, what if this happens? What if I don't pass? What if I don't adapt? And then just think about what if it works? Because moving abroad, you learn different things. You are out of your comfort zone, and you have to do things your way. You learn to be independent, make your own decisions, be your own person. You apply for a job, and then you just do things yourself. And you learn to express yourself in your purest form.
Yeah, if you come here with an open mind, I think, and if you give it a chance, you'll know pretty quickly if it's for you. But do give it a try, because potentially it could be, for lack of a better word, life-changing.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Joel Santos. I'm the president and co-founder of SEMS International Business School. And, I'd really I'll be the moderator for today. And thank you for attending our Setback to Come Back session today. We've been hosting webinars during the start of the pandemic. And we've stopped along the way because there were many other things to do. But actually, after 1 year, I think it's about time we get an update from many of our entrepreneurs and what they have been doing. So before I start, right, I'd like to check. It's a very, how we do things, very casual. It's like, business people talking to each other, kwentuhan lang, ano ba nangyayari, what's happening. Who among the participants here were part of our training programs? Can I just get raise your hand na lang. Who were part of our training programs with DTI? Okay. Thank you for being here. So ano to? We're updating ourselves on what's happening to the rest. So some of you already, in a way, are alumni from our training programs from DTI, whether it's most of them are e-commerce related, really helping our SMEs migrate to e-commerce. Now, who here came from other webinars that we did before? Okay. I check. Not coming from the training programs. Okay, around half. Okay, cool. So we only invited the people who are really part of the SEMS community. So I thank you again for joining us here. And given that we're part of the one community, please feel free, diba, just to put in your comments in the chat or put a question in the Q&A. As we said, para tong kwentuhan lang ng mga fellow businessmen, particularly now that we want to navigate, di ba? Setback yung 2020, dapat ang 2021 come back. Okay? So, with that, I'd like to introduce today our 4 panelists. Actually, 3, I think. One suddenly, I'm not sure if one will make it, but at least we'll have 3. And between ourselves and with you, okay, our participants, you're part of the community, so medyo interesting tayo, casual, make it a fun, light, and the sharing session. So we're not the only one sharing. I'd really like to get feedback also from the rest of the group. So let me introduce the first one. Okay, he is Josh Aragon. He's the founder of Zagana.com. It's a farm to kitchen platform that uplifts lives using technology by bridging the gap between food producers and consumers. Mga platforms, di ba? Yan ang talagang umusbong during the pandemic. So many platforms were created. So he's building a sustainable distribution network from farm to the city level. So he's able to deliver fresh produce in as fast as 30 minutes. Josh, customer mo na ako kasi every time I order, it takes me about half a day. So pag kunwari, kailangan ko ng salad right away, wala eh. So, aside from that, he's also a board of director of the Philippine Red Cross Quezon City chapter. So providing relief operations and particularly mass blood donation. So malakas rin yung save the world side ni Josh. So let me welcome Joshua Aragon. Hi, Josh. Can I have Josh on video, please? This is Josh having a hard time logging in. Anyway, let me call the next one. So our second panelist is the founder and managing director of LearnTalk. It's an edutech platform that helps tutorial centers easily launch and manage their businesses online. So marami sa atin nahirapan, di ba? We have kids and we're working at the same time, and then we have to manage their online session. So So Nicolo has set up this tutoring marketplace in the Philippines called tutorco.com. So he's also experienced in leading business development in e-commerce in Europe and China at Peter Paul, his family business. I'm familiar with Peter Paul, Nicolo, because I worked for Franklin Baker. Okay, so what you're doing for the coconut products is really big, and I congratulate you in helping a lot of the farmers. Your family business has helped a lot of farmers. So before starting Learn Talk, Nicolo was a private equity investor at Kingsley Capital Partners and is a veteran banker at City in London. He has a master's degree from Cambridge University and a bachelor's degree from Durham University. Nicolo, I am also part of the British Alumni Association. So I'm a board of director. We're trying to revive it. So I will make sure you're going to be part of our attempt to revive the British Alumni Association. Okay. Welcome, Nicolo. Can we just have you open? Hey, hi. Good to see you. I'm excited to chat with you later. Nicolo, yours has a bit of static. Can we do a test again?
Sure. Let me just.
Yeah, it has a bit of static.
Is this any better? Is this clear?
No, it's the same. You might want to log in and out, and then let's see if it might become better. Okay.
I'll take off my headset. Maybe sometimes my headset.
Okay. Sige. We'll test it again. Okay. Okay. Next up. Okay. Next up is a.
That should be better, right? That's clear.
Perfect, man. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Next up is a chef, executive chef and owner of Slow Burn Manila. Yeah, we don't want Manila to burn fast. So slow burn is okay. Criso Morales, right? He's the owner of Slow Burn Manila. It's a family-oriented, home-based food business run professionally. Okay, born out of the pandemic. So yeah, exciting. The ones who opened up a business during the pandemic. So it specialized in fall of the bone smoking ribs with just the right, char and caramelization. Okay yan. My family loves ribs, diba? Unfortunately, because we are not on a face-to-face discussion, you cannot bring your food to us and we cannot taste it. Diba? So before putting up Slow Burn Manila, he was working at the Shangri-La at the Fort, Somerset Hotel, Alabang, Aloha Boracay, and he's now affiliated with Bear Bakes and currently doing food and restaurant consultancy services with a number of restaurants. So cool. Welcome, Criso.
Hey, sir. Hi, good morning.
Hey.
Good morning,
Okay, cool. Everybody. Can I just check if Josh was able to come in already, Adolf?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, there. Cool. Just looking for you kanina. Oh, yan. So, super interesting. We have 3 entrepreneurs. And I'm really excited to find out about what they did during the pandemic. Josh and Nicolo, do you mind turning on your videos? Okay, great. So our participants, there's about 50 plus of us here. As I said, we'll make it as engaging as possible. But again, before we start, can I find out in the chat from what parts of the Philippines is everybody coming from? Okay, let's just do that. Okay, please put the city where you are beaming up from. Lipa, great. Bicol, Valenzuela, Legazpi, Rizal, Calamba, Parañaque, Quezon City, Zamboanga, great. Dagupan, Pampanga, Taytay, Cebu, Baliwag, Antipolo, Bicol, Albay, Pandi, Nueva Ecija, Makati. Anybody else? Vegan, great. Ilocos, Antipolo, Iloilo, Bataan, Bohol. Anybody more from the Mindanao region? We have a lot from the Visayas and Luzon. We have one from Bataan, si Emma. Angelina is from Zambales. Okay, anybody from Mindanao? aside from, well, Lina, Felimon is from Davao. Great. Okay. We have one from Davao, one from Zamboanga. Okay, good. So we can actually say we are nationwide. So yeah. And it's really interesting later. As I said, there's a casual gathering. I'd really also like to find out for everybody. Later on, I'm going to ask you what is happening in your city and area. Because in a way, this learning session is not just for us from the learning from the panelists, but us as a bunch of entrepreneurs sharing where we are and what's happening all over the country. So let me start first. Josh, tell us about your business and then how was the year for you? Okay.
So hi everyone, I'm Josh, founder of Zagana.com. We are a farm-to-kitchen source for fresh produce and frozen goods delivered to you in as fast as 30 minutes.
So fresh and frozen?
Anywhere in Metro Manila.
Even
yes,
frozen.
Fresh and frozen.
Okay.
So, well, the pandemic has changed a lot of businesses, especially the brick and mortar. So, yung retail experience now has went to the digital realm, which is the instant commerce. So, what happened was in January till March, we were operating and we were serving to restaurants. So, we were doing bulk orders and bigla nag-lockdown in March 15. So we had to shift and pivot our business overnight going to consumers. So since then, we've been doing, kasi when we started, we were doing traditional e-commerce. So what is traditional e-commerce? It's a matter of delivering the goods to you in 3 to 7 days. So you wait for the item to arrive to your warehouse, then from your warehouse, saka mo i-deliver. And that's, nung pandemic, there's a lot of broken supply chain. So what happened was because of the lockdown, because of the roadblocks, a lot of produce did not arrive to the warehouse, and there were a lot of misorders or canceled orders, as well as missing items. So what we did is we pivoted it into doing instant commerce. So what is instant commerce? It's a 30 minutes to 1 hour delivery. So basically, it's just a tap of a button. You'll get your items immediately. So we shifted into that aspect in terms of we sell what we have. So we store all the items in our storages, and we make sure na all of these items are available for your use. Yes.
You know, Josh would like to know more about how you're able to do that, because I'm very familiar with supply chain because THEMS was the partner of the Philippine and Singapore government in creating the supply chain and logistics skills map for the country. So what you are doing is a major breakthrough to be able to do fresh in 30 to an hour. So we're going to go into detail on that one because I think that's a major breakthrough, and I'm sure everybody would like to learn. And given the fact that we're from all over the country, you might actually have a lot of suppliers who'd like to work with you later on. So good. We'll come back to you later, Josh. Thank you. Okay. Nicolo, tell us a bit about how from coconut, diba? The family business in coconut, now you are into TutorCo. Okay. And how the pandemic has been for you.
Sure. Well, actually, the business is LearnTalk. I moved back to the Philippines 6 years ago and to set up LearnTalk, which was an online English platform. What we found is that we were operating in different markets, and the desire to pay for online English didn't meet the advertising spend. So we pivoted to actually providing our software tools to physical tutorial centers around the world. And we've worked with a bunch of Philippine tutorial centers like MSA, Ahead, and Duran. We haven't worked with you guys yet.
Yeah, we can chat about that. Sure. First time I met you, so it's great.
We basically provide tools to help physical tutorial centers go online because, cobbling together Zoom with like Google Sheets and then sending like PayPal links is super messy, and it's not scalable for a lot of guys. So ours is like one integrated platform that basically includes tool like a CRM, payments, booking, virtual classroom, and tons of integrations.
See, how did that, how was the pandemic then for you? Everybody needed tutors during this time.
Yeah, it just kicked us off. I mean, we had quite a stable business before, and then just a lot of interest came in during the pandemic from physical tutorial centers all over the world. I mean, we working with people in Mongolia, a school chain in Mongolia, big chain from Israel, Germany, so all over the world. And yeah, I mean, we're doubling down on product because, there's, when you get more clients, everybody wants a different feature, a different something else. So we've just been full blast hiring
Great.
developers and building out the platform.
So we'll tackle a bit more on that one because education. For those who have seen the papers the past 2 days, everything's about the state of education, which unfortunately is not in a good state, right? So we'll go deeper into that, and then finally, Chef Criso, tell us about your year, right? And your fall off the bone ribs.
Hi. So I'm just a typical guy. I actually work in the hotel industry for 8 years. So I'm just your typical chef who lost his job last 2020. So when I lost my job, February, I actually wasn't very interested in business back then. As a typical hotelier, my dream was to be an executive chef of a five-star hotel. So yeah, I just came from Boracay. Then I went back to Manila. Then I lost my job. Then I just gave it a shot actually. I just called my brother who's a college student, and we just got one of our partners, his friend. Then we just opened an online business, online food service business. Actually started just with no branding. We just used foil. They just started selling with friends. Then we started last September 2020, and I'm just so happy that we are still operating until now, and we're stronger this year. So we started with just friends. Then for last year, last December, it was a very huge month from us. We had corporate accounts, we had school accounts. So yeah.
Cool. Sige. So guys, to our audience, right? Okay yung ating combination. So imagine you have Josh, who was originally a B2B business. Pandemic, he pivoted to become a B2C, right? Nicolo has always been an edutech company from the onset, but again, he did the pivot given the pandemic. Si Chef naman, di ba? It's a great example of suddenly ang dami natin, di ba? We know how much the tourism sector was hit. Thames works with the DOT in actually helping the hotels open safely, So, but we all know that when we were training all of the 700 GMs from DOT accredited hotels and resorts, they all said they had to let go so many, and their challenge was how to help. But si Chef Criso put it upon his hands na I'm just gonna do something given my situation. So very varied, interesting. So there's a lot of things to learn. So guys, start putting the things that are making you curious now in the Q&A. So that as they talk, I could already see what you guys are curious about. Put it now in the Q&A and we'll just try to put things together, right? Okay. Tsaka, you can also put comments in the chat na, I want to see the food of Chef Criso, di ba? Or start putting in the chat that you want to partner already, or you have supply for fresh produce. You can already put it in the chat group so Josh can see that. And for those who are parents and you need a tutor, you can already put it there. So just put it in the chat. As we're chatting, we're doing business, di ba? Okay lang yan. It's like, hindi to yung classroom na nobody can chit-chat with each other, right? Okay. So also, in the chat group, if you don't mind, you guys can put out what your business is. Di ba? Just put it in the chat group. So for example, you're in the business of food. Ilagay nyo na rin sa chat. The reason is, you might just find somebody in this group who might be interested to send you a personal message because you guys might do something together. So gawin na rin natin tong networking. Okay? Is that okay with you guys? As I said, take advantage of this 1 hour, 1 hour 15 that we are together. It's both learning, networking, and then really just meeting more people. So yan, no? Si Pertisa Reyes is in processed food nuts. Yan. Immediately, you have something to talk about with Josh. Diba? Processed food nuts. So just put it there and see what you can do. Oh. Sumagot na kagad si Camila Singson that, hey, I want to partner with Homeschool Global. He already said that to Nicolas. See? So, let's use this forum to give ideas, share ideas, and network. O si Gerson naman said he is in organic agricultural products and giant freshwater lobster. O Josh, meron ka na naman supplier. So this is part of the power of coming together. When we do a THEMS webinar, hindi lang po yan parang one way, di ba? We have to get something out of it. O yan, nasa food photography si Shelby. Oh, chef, baka meron na kayong racket ni Shelby in food photography. So again, that's the power of coming together in the THEMS community. Okay? So just put it out there, and then later on, you guys can address each other's questions. O sige, let's do the questioning first. So I'd wanna go back to Josh. No, we're handling supply chain, and actually my first business when I was a venture cap, just like Nicolo, was investing in the supply chain, and that was like many years ago. We were the supply chain and logistics provider for Unilab, for Century, for Johnson & Johnson. That's my first business. And we never went into fresh because it's so hard to handle. So Josh, how were you able to move, di ba, fresh and deliver in 30 minutes?
So it's putting in the proper storage. So we have cold storage around Metro Manila. We chill the produce and we freeze the other items. So meron kaming 2 rooms, chiller room and frozen room. That's where we fulfill the orders, and we leverage on the marketplaces of the platforms. So we have Lazada, we have Shopee, we have Grab, Foodpanda, Picaru, Metromart. So basically we're an online store. Wala kaming walk-in, it's purely online.
Yeah, but your storage is owned by yourself.
No, we even rent it out. So we're asset light as well.
So you're even outsourcing your storage?
Yes. So basically, we focus on fulfillment. So sourcing and fulfillment, yun yung forte namin. So
I guess you know what, guys, diba? For every entrepreneur, you should be an expert in something. So in other words, yours is sourcing and fulfillment, and you leave the logistics storage to other people.
Correct. Because it gets another expert to maintain your equipments.
Exactly. It's a totally different capital altogether. Yeah, especially for those guys who went through our go online and grow online. Remember what I said, right? We can't be an expert in everything. Plus, we don't have the capex to do that. So, that means you have to finance your whole inventory, Josh?
Correct. We have working capital just for that.
Fresh is hard to maintain. So how fast to supply you? Because we're from all over the country, diba? So guys, if you want to supply to Josh, diba? What kind of inventory are you looking at for fresh?
Well,
2 days lang?
We have around 700 SKUs. And we're getting supplies from Benguet, Bataan, Batangas, and even in Rojas City. So we're getting fresh produce and frozen seafood from there. So these are freshly harvested, plus frozen, and they ship it to our cold storages. And that's where we fulfill it. And you will see the freshness. Iba yung freshness ng finreeze lang, and iba yung freshness ng blast frozen.
Yeah. There's a little thing on the side. Actually, I'm actually from Malabon, so my family business was really in fishing. So I grew up with fish, but we only deal with fresh. We used to be in deep sea fishing, right? So storage is the hardest part. And for you to serve. So when he says he serves blast frozen means from the time they're caught, they're put in the same fresh state as they are. So you're getting from Josh blast frozen seafood, which means it's as fresh as when they were caught. So okay yan. So how long did it take you to pivot from B2B to B2C? Sorry, that's right, from B2B to B2C.
Yes. So that was March 15, lockdown. So we had a month to pivot. So we
Galing mo
regroup,
naman, di ba?
we reprocess, and then okay, let's focus on one thing that we have to on how we will survive. Kasi lockdown is basically no one knows what lockdown means. Will it be just for a month, 4 months? And we found out that it's already been a year and a half. So iba yung play eh. So we had to pivot and we had to adapt. So we have to be adaptive leaders in a way that we are flexible. Pag something happened, we have to make sure that our company survives, and the people around us will benefit from it as well.
How big is your management team, or how many partners are you?
Well, for the B2B, we started with having 3 people from January to March, 3 to 10. And now, because of the boom in the instant commerce, we're at 100 right now.
Grabe ah. So suddenly, aside from pivoting, you had to hire a team from 3 to 10 suddenly to 100.
Correct.
So, are you still hiring?
Yes, we are.
Sige. We will give you students who are graduating from our e-commerce courses. Great. Thank you. So Josh, marami ka ng supplier. So while I'm talking to Nicolo and to Chef, di ba? Sagutin mo na yung mga suppliers mo that are already there.
Yes, I will.
Okay, Nicolo. Great. So I'm always interested in, in SEMS, we send out our students to either graduate in the Philippines or in the UK. And sometimes the challenge is that they don't come back, right? So let's go back to that one from study. And Durham's a nice place. So, of course, you went to the best schools, right? Durham and Cambridge. So going there with a lot of opportunities, what made you come back?
Well, yeah, I think there's a number of things. Like number one, it's family. It's nice to be close to family. I think in terms of business, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. I think number one, some really great people to work with here. We even from our clients' perspective, they just love working with us, not because of me, but because of our great developers. Those are two things, and obviously there's a lot more growth potential here in the Philippines than somewhere like the UK.
Okay, that's true. A lot of people actually feeling dismayed now at how bad the economic situation in the country compared to the others. I'd like to reiterate, there's really so much opportunities, guys. Every time I have to say that every time I start something, I always do it in a crisis because there are opportunities there. So when THEMS was started, like 21 years ago, it was a crisis. And I think it's not that I love risk. It just so happens that every time there's a crisis, there's just more opportunities. So you heard it from Nicolo on why he came back. Question for every business. Okay, guys, I'm talking to you as if it's a class, right? Because we all went to the training. Every entrepreneur has to address a specific problem in the market. Okay, if you guys remember all of our trainings, diba? So, Nicolo, what problem, okay, is Tutor Co addressing? What is the problem of opportunity that you are addressing?
Yeah, so just a bit of background. I didn't mention last time. We recently launched a commission-free tutorial marketplace here in the Philippines, and basically a bunch of clients asked us and actually paid for us to develop this on top of our existing platform. And then for whatever reason, they got cold feet. They didn't launch. So we said, hey, why don't we just launch it? We built it. And we wanted to go commission free because we want to basically give as much as possible back to the teacher, which is, we can't give them any more than by not charging any commission. And what we're trying to address in the Philippines is basically how hard it is to find good tutors. Now, there's a bunch of other, actually they're international tutorial marketplaces or listings or kind of like OLX for tutors. But number one, they're not really curated. Number two, they don't really give great ratings. And the marketplace for us is just the first step. We're going to be adding like a lot of features like homework help, crowdsourcing homework help, like live group classes, like OutSchool, like basically taking the best features from OutSchool, from SnapAsk, etc., from Ranguru, providing lots of free content. So we're just at day one with TutorCall.
Okay. Nicola, interestingly, because you come from a private equity background, right? And guys, we discussed this to our audience here. We discussed this about how to raise funds for your startup or for your expansion plans, right? So how did you, when you thought of the idea and everything, how did you set this up? Did you have to finance it yourself? Did you go to angel investors? Did you go to, well, might be too early for a PE, right? But then, so how did you get it started in terms of funding?
Yeah, we actually, this is my first business venture, right? So we tried to do something like capital light. We didn't have a lot of capital. So I got it going with my own savings and then raised some money from my family, immediate family. We actually then went out to, I thought it would be easy because I'd seen a lot of startups in the UK get funded or by venture, and they're basically like just marketplaces, right? And they spend all the money on customer acquisition. But here, at least when I was starting, nobody, I don't know, it was really hard to raise external funds. I mean, we talked to like Vanilla Angels, we basically got a term sheet and a bunch of other people, but it's really tough. So we basically, we had a B2C model that would have required cash for customer acquisition, and nobody wanted to fund it to the tune that we needed. So we had to make some hard decisions. We cut like 90% of the team.
Wow.
And went B2B because that's where we realized we had some leverage, and we just had a really tiny team, mostly variable cost, right down to the bones. I had to get a job with my family to kind of pay the bills, and built it right again from the ground up 2.5 years later. And we found that a lot of, there's schools out there who really needed our products. We were providing both the software and the teachers to some large clients abroad. And and it's been going okay. And we've been cash flow positive for 3 years. This is the third year. So just building it step by step, there's no silver bullet for us, at least. Some people raise huge rounds right up front, and good for them. Maybe next business I'll do it in fintech and raise a lot of money. But
actually, I'm an edutech investor, Nicola, so I know how difficult it is. I have an edutech company in Singapore, and raising money in the Philippines is the hardest. So guys, we all know, you know it, and I've talked about that in our training, that raising money in the Philippines is the hardest. You really have to go to family and friends first, which is what Nicola did, right? So I think the difference with the Philippines and other countries is that there's so much government support, and there's a very mature venture capital or angel network to actually finance our startup ideas. But the Philippines, unfortunately, you have to go to friends and family. And kaya maging mabait kayo sa mga kamag-anak nyo. so really, it's really friends and families first. But I just want to say to everybody that finally there's a healthier angel and venture capital network. And one of the things that we'd like to do within the SEMS community is to give you guys access to that. And one of the things that, and that's why, and just coming together as a network is one of those. But yes, it is difficult. But I just like to highlight what Nicola did, no? So that you have to keep on pivoting until you find the one that will be funded by customers. A lot of the startups, they want to get funded with their idea alone. In the end, it's your customers who will fund your business because they are buying from you. And Nicola just had to keep on shifting until he found the right set of customers. In B2B, is it B2C, until you actually get revenue. Okay. Yes, what happened to the business loan under Bayanihan Law? Sigmund, that's good, Kip. May business Have you seen the papers? So much Bayanihan money was unused. I don't know what happened to that, right? But suppose you just go to SB Corp, that is the Small Business Corporation of the TTI. There is a loan from 500,000 to 2 million. Okay, guys. So those who, if you're an existing business, I said that you go to the DTI Small Business Corp, there is a loan from 500,000 to 2 million for SMEs. So please go there right away. Bago mawala yung pera, quote unquote. Okay? So, Cristo, chef,
sir.
saan mo kinuha ng lakas ng loob mo, di ba? To start a business when you've been a chef all your life. Tapos, and you're gonna do that pa in the pandemic.
Actually, sir, there's a friend who told me that parang since nag-pandemic and it's lockdown, there's one factor in restaurants or in restaurant success that was eliminated, and that is location. If mag-food business ka kasi, you need to think of the location. And a friend told me, since it's now in the pandemic, everyone's going online, you won't have to think of location. Kumbaga, ang laban na lang is pasarapan and paso pa galingan. So, yun, I kind of thought of it na, oh nga, so why not? Since we actually didn't have a big capital, we actually just had 7,000. And that 7,000 just bought 1 box of ribs, I think 3 kilos of rice and packaging. I just used yung chiller namin na luma. I just used that. I just used ihawan na luma, which was only good for 1 or 2. And I just used yung home equipment, cooking equipment. We just started from that. So what I thought was I had nothing to lose. So why not try?
Galing ah. Actually, isipin mo everything that you look for, di ba? Whatever's available. Di ba?
Yes,
kung lang available and you started with that. And
yes.
So
tapos what we did when parang actually it's kind of funny because after that weekend that 7,000 became 20,000 and I was just so happy na ang galing with 1 weekend na triple yung pera. Tapos parang na-addict na ako in doing so sa business.
Na-addict ka na sa pera.
Yeah, in a way, parang ganun.
Na-addict ka na sa pagkita, di ba? Oh.
Yes. We actually just started with one variety. Kasi when people started doing online businesses, what I saw na medyo for me yung naging advantage was parang kulang. For example, if you buy at a Chinese restaurant, you have to buy rice, you have to buy protein, you have to buy vegetables. So what I did, that's how I came up with the idea na I would sell something which is complete already. And that something is sa akin lang nila matitikman, which is a new combination. Because what I did when I started out, so I had ribs, I had French beans, cherry tomatoes on the side. Then I made it into surf and turf. So I had fresh ribs. Then I thought of myself, what would make this unique? So that's why I started to develop the truffle rice.
Truffle rice, okay. Actually, I wanted to ask that, Nicolo and Josh should know this, is that in the pandemic, we had so many options, di ba? Of what to order food, right? We had so many options. Everybody suddenly became an online food delivery, di ba? If you live in a condo, siguro half your neighbors are selling you something, right? If you live in a subdivision, half of them are selling you something from fresh to cook to beverages, completo. Suddenly, the subdivision, the condo became a supermarket. Diba? Ganun yung experience. It suddenly changed. So how do you rise above the clutter, chef?
Actually, I might sound off, pero when everyone was pushing me to start my own business, I timed it because I thought everyone was selling tapsilog, homemade longganisa, homemade leche flan. Everyone was started selling because it was a new business opportunity for everyone. But it's not original. And they did, maybe my advantage was I came from a hotel, I had the hotel standards mentality, which
Okay.
was consistent. It should be always, you should always have quality. And most importantly, you should know the basic of sanitation. So
Actually, totoo yan chef. Kasi nga, I was telling my wife, we're gonna order from that. We don't even know
yes,
if they had the right health protocol, diba, in preparing the food, right? Because
yes,
as we all know that in food, right, anything can happen, and they were talking
yes,
about the health protocols are critical. That
yes,
later I'm gonna ask Josh about his health protocols because I'm sure that's one of the things that people are asking, especially for fresh, right? So
yes. So maybe yun yung naging advantage talaga namin is because even to my partners, I trained them na parang kahit we didn't have the proper commissary back then, we didn't have the proper yung pangluto sa malalaking batch back then, but what we had was the standards that I was training them.
But did you say that in your posts, in your FB posts or IG posts? Did you say that this is hotel standards?
Not really.
How would people know?
Because
hindi mo na pwede pag tinikman mo, sasabihin mo, uy, hotel standard to. Sarap eh. So how did you make people know about your health standards and your attention to all of this?
We actually showed it through, first of all, professional booking, ease of booking. So when someone messaged our page, we replied professionally. Secondly, the packaging. It was not something that you would think na tinipid. And most importantly, the presentation. That's why we focus so much on presentation, colors, the quality of rice, the quality of the trays that we use. Is because it's what I wanted. When you receive our tray, even before tasting, you would know that this guy knows what he is doing. So with the presentation, with the package, because if I order from someone, just by yung cutting, I could sense agad na, they're professional or not. Kung pantay-pantay ba yung pagkahiwa, tama ba yung pagkaluto.
Understood.
Yeah, so for me, sa online business, ang number one talaga is quality. Because that's how you can win them. That's how they will order from you again. That's how they would promote you to their friends. And there's a new trend. Nowadays, we are receiving lots of orders as gifts. Since people cannot be with their family members, they send food as gifts.
Yes, that's interesting. Actually, just want to highlight, right? Again, guys, from our training sessions, we've always told you, you have to find your X factor, diba? Either you as an entrepreneur, do you have a knowledge that's unique or do you have a product that's unique? You have to always find it. So si Chef Chris uses X factor as being a chef, working with high quality, top hotels and resorts, diba? And bringing that thing and delivering that to your home. So I think that was the unique factor. That gifting is so true because that's what I'm giving to people now. When I want to say thank you to anybody, I send them food. Nicolo, you might send a tutor as a gift, di ba? Not physically. I'll give you a number of hours of di ba? Kasi nga, we all know that some people are so tired of we do a lot of training for DepEd. Thames is a part of DepEd, and the teachers themselves, for example, they're already a teacher and they still have to be a tutor for their own kids. So just imagine the double work. So even the teacher wants a tutor for their own kids because they also don't have time, right? So imagine pa all the working moms. So yours is really going to help a lot of people. Josh, how are you keeping your health standards? Kasi nga people are so concerned about health. So as you deliver these things, how do you ensure that everything is always safe and fresh? And so from the supplier to you, to the actual customer.
So what we do is we already talk to the farmers. We make sure na yung traceability part, we have that transparent.
That's
We know,
guys, I just want to stop there. Traceability is a key word when it comes to food. Okay, thanks, Josh. Go ahead. Yeah.
yes. So basically, we have our quality assurance team who already onboard suppliers or farmers. So they go there, they check the farm, they make sure na proper ba yung pag-plant nila. So is it safe to consume? Is it pesticide free? Is it do they have good fertilizers? And do they follow the GAP certification? So GAP means that it's good agricultural practice. So we make sure that everything is consumer friendly, and we ship it to our storages, and we store it properly. So we follow yung the standards in terms of HACCP, in terms of food grade materials. We make sure na from the farm to the storage, we don't break the cold chain. So sometimes kasi, for example, in Benguet, the temperature is 18 degrees or 16 to 18. So when we ship it down to Metro Manila, we make sure that it's the same temperature that we got from Benguet. Same goes with other regions. We make sure that the temperature does not go overboard. It doesn't go hot to like 25 to 30 degrees. That will create an abuse. That will have an abuse in the temperature.
Josh,
so,
you're
yes,
very technical. What's your background?
Engineering. I took up manufacturing engineering.
You took up manufacturing. What was it? What were you in food manufacturing before you started your business?
No, I was into biomedical. So we basically manufacture prosthesis. So biomedical engineering in Laguna.
Tapos napunta ka dito ka sa food distribution.
Yeah, so I had to learn everything from scratch.
You know what? It always amazes me when you come from another industry and then suddenly you had to learn everything from scratch, diba? And become an expert. Ganyan talaga nakakabilib ang mga entrepreneurs, right? So, like, Nicola, what was your education background? What was your major? Were you finance or what was it?
No. It's kind of embarrassing. I mean, I did history, and then I as an undergrad, and then I did I did a history major, minored in theology, and then did Chinese and a master's in Chinese studies. Lived in China for a while. Then I don't know how I managed to get into investment banking. I don't know how they accepted me, but they did. I did a bunch of extra studying on the side on how to build financial models and stuff. So you can teach it yourself. So pretty much every stage out of my depth.
So one of the things that I'd like to share as well, entrepreneurs, doesn't matter what our background is, but if we want to go into a new business, we will do everything to learn it, right? It's like you move from finance to history to theology to tech, right, Nicolo? I mean, that's...
But what I would say, honestly, is that in hindsight, I wish I had a more technical background, and I've actually been teaching myself how to code, and I think it's a really important skill, and I think everybody should probably learn much harder skills earlier on, like engineering, if they can, and web development, and I think those are really important skills.
So guys, is another tip I'd like to share is, some of us are lucky, like Joshua has a technical background, engineering, and then you can easily migrate to other things. Now, those who are not into technical, you can go anywhere online. There's so many free courses on coding. You can learn anything for free now. You just have to allocate time. So you can move to anything, okay? But of course, it it always works if you're already an expert in something, because it reduces the time to learn something new. Okay, so there's a question here from Sigmund. Okay, Camille our alumni? Camille Singson's our alumni, and she's based out of Ilocos. I think Josh, she wants to catch up with you if you'll be expanding to Ilocos. Anyway, I'd like to address the question of Sigmund. She said, "What is your greatest business lesson this time pandemic?" So any of the three of you can answer that. Greatest business lessons in the pandemic.
Well, for me, first is to believe yourself, because I wasn't really entrepreneur minded when I was working in a hotel, but when I gave it a shot, I was surprised that I could do it pala. Then secondly is to adapt.
You froze. Nag-freeze muna si Okay, nag-freeze si Chef. Okay, why don't you go and answer that first, Nicolo. What was your greatest business lesson in the pandemic?
Well, I think now everything is like so much is distributed online. So unless you own the distribution, distribution becomes much less important because as if you're just plugged into the online channels, then you have equal distribution to anybody else in the country. I mean, anybody can sell on Lazada, whereas before distribution was a big competitive advantage. If you had a big store chain network, you were probably going to win in any industry, right? So what that means now is that product is, so if distribution is a kind of flat playing field, it's really about how good your product is, all right? So I think you got to just double down on making the absolute world's best product in whatever you're in, and it just shows, like Slow Burn Manila obviously has like amazing product, right? Just because they didn't have like 100 stores doesn't mean they can't be successful like in the past. And I think same with I guess us as well. I mean, we just figured we just got to double down on product and make the world's best platform, and distribution will follow.
Actually, the word on distribution is key, right? With technology now, you can actually sell anywhere in the world. And I think that's what actually Josh is trying to do, diba? Helping different suppliers have access. And that's why they're both platforms. Both Nicolo and Josh are platforms. It's like giving a lot of the micro and small people opportunities actually to reach different marketplaces. So Josh, what's your biggest learning in the pandemic?
It's to adapt, and every time you fall, you have to get up. So talagang you have to work your way up. It doesn't matter how hard you fall, but you have to make sure that you always get up back to your feet and work on your passion. So one thing is you always need to have a support system. So you need to have mentors in place, either professors or industry experts that's helping you reach your goal. Because it's different if you have someone who are experts in that field who teaches you how to do it, and you can basically execute it on your own. But something that most important is someone's guiding you in your journey.
Super critical, Josh. Thank you for, there's always, in this time, we need a guide. So before the pandemic, I mentor a lot, right? And the pandemic happened, I looked for a mentor. It's like, I didn't know what's going to happen, right? So I did get a mentor when the pandemic happened. I said, I don't know how to handle this thing. So guys, huwag kayong mahiya to look for support, diba? And that's why there's a community here in THEMS. We can all help each other. we don't know what's out there and how the future will unfold, and just getting ideas and support. And like I hope everybody can share my own philosophy. I try to share as much. I don't. Sometimes people say, why are you sharing your trade secrets? For me, there's no such thing as a trade secret. I share things because if you're really that good, you will always be ahead of the curve. So some people try to keep things in their chest. No, ako lang dapat may alam nito. But in this day and age, right, I think sharing is much better than keeping things to yourself. And that's why I really appreciate what Chef, Criso is doing, what Nicolas is doing, and what Josh is doing, just sharing their own insights. Because that's generosity, di ba? Yes, Chef, you're gonna say something?
May I acknowledge lang, I haven't acknowledged it properly, but Sir Aran is one of our mentors and guides when we were starting out until up to now. So I'd like to thank Sir Adolf Aran because simula pa lang when we started talaga, he was guiding us na ano. We just sent him one food and one tray, tapos yan, he has guided us so much talaga.
Yes, alam mo si Adolf put together all of our speakers, so I'd like to acknowledge Adolf, and Adolf has been helping a lot during this time. He's one of those mentors that we're so blessed to have in the schools. Okay. Any other questions? We will have to end in a while, but let me check the questions. Okay. Do you mind sending us, I got to see from January. Do you mind sending us a few resumes of our e-commerce graduates yes, okay, I'll do that. Kai, please take note of what January Lim said. Okay. So let me share something to you guys. I hope you guys have been networking on the chat. I see that you are. Those who want to get in touch with Nicolo, Criso, and Josh. Chef, pakilagay naman sa chat group how they can order from you.
Okay,
right?
sir.
Diba? How they can order from you. I'm also gonna order. Where do you get your ribs? Baka you can get it from Josh, diba? Wag sa mga surf and turf mo, diba? Samahan mo yung ribs mo with some seafood, diba?
Actually, may seafood po yun. Yung surf and turf namin, may shrimp talaga. Then we usually use, sa isang tray naman namin, we use salmon. So, fillet of salmon. Then, yun,
Ayan,
chicken.
sige.
Use
Kausapin mo
vegetable.
na si Josh after that para biglang ma-expand yung business mo, no? So I'd wanna, if you don't mind, if I could just share so first and foremost, just to share with everybody, I know a lot of you, we've helped you go and grow online. So what we did with the DTI, we started training the DepEd senior high school students. Why? So that they can be your staff. Kasi ang naging issue from the surveys, wala kayong ma-hire na staff for e-commerce. So guys, yes, put it in the chat, lahat ng those who need e-commerce staff. We already have graduates with the DTI THEMS program from on the senior high school tsaka ALS. We've trained your staff para hindi na kailangan lagi kayong sumagot ng Facebook nyo, Instagram nyo, make your poster and all of that. Okay, we've started training a lot of these senior high schools to do the e-commerce staff work that you need. So yan, I'm announcing it na. And we're gonna try to train as many so that they can provide all of the staff work you need for e-commerce. So you can actually put it there in the chat, and Kai will take advantage. Kai will take note of those who need e-commerce staff. Thank you, January Lim, for putting that. Kasi nga, you guys are growing and kulang kayo ng staff. And look at Joshua, di ba? From 9 to 10, suddenly 100, di ba? In a year. That's para bang hiring somebody every 3 days. Di ba? When you look at it, di ba? Parang every 3 days, may bagong taong pumapasok. Grabe, I could not. I'm really inspired by what you guys are doing. Ngayon, singit ako ng isang something I wanna offer. Is my can you guys see my screen? No, it's not. No. Why is my screen like that? What are you seeing on the screen?
Seeing study now, pay later, just the top of a PowerPoint.
Okay, cool. Guys, a lot of, some of you might have kids or relatives or friends who's having a hard time. So we're doing this study now, pay later, right? They can come into the school, they can pay later. They don't have to pay for miscellaneous, they don't have to pay for tuition fees. So guys, they can just get in touch with us, inquire at fems.edu.ph. You all know us. So if you have any friend who has a problem financially, kasi cash flow is the issue, diba? We're helping out. Study now, pay later. That's our own way to keep on helping out our community. So just please refer them and we'll try to make it work for them financially. We should not stop education, and Nicola knows that. The latest, I'll share that to you also, Nicola, later. I was just in the PBED, or the Philippine Business for Education meeting yesterday, and we have hit rock bottom in how bad our education system is. And so many people have stopped school in the past year. This is our own way of helping it. We cannot, education must continue. So if you know any friends, send them to us. We'll see how we can help them continue the education. They can go to school, they can pay later. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but what can we do, right? Who else will help each other but us Filipinos? So, yun lang. So with that, I let me just summarize my learnings from this thing, right? Let me just summarize if I can. We always want each learning session to be, to be maximized. So the way I'm going to maximize my summary is this. Kayo na lang mag-share na anong learning nyo, di ba? So guys, what's your takeaway? Please put it in the chat group. We want everybody to maximize the learning here. So please put your one takeaway, put it in the chat box. And so we now get collective wisdom from what was shared with our panelists. Okay, can we have that? Guys, one learning, just one lang. Alam ko masyado kayo maraming natutunan. Just put one learning in the chat box. So at least we can collate everything that people learn. Okay, what's coming? Never give up. Okay, from Sigmund. I thank Sonia for that comment about us. As I said, we're just really trying to help. Oh, learnings. Learning into action. Okay, thanks, Mylene. Risk-taking conservatively. Okay, thanks. Who was saying? Melissa said that. Stay forward and be positive. Alicia, okay. Elaine said, take that first step. Okay, good. Camille said, it doesn't matter what your background is, just be willing to learn. Okay, cool. Courage is the first step to success. Thanks, Jonalyn. Stay agile, Tet. That's super important. Agile. Isipin mo, all of them move from B to C, B to B, from chef to lahat sila agile. Be innovative and take a risk. There's always an opportunity. Thank you. Jay said, adapt. Jocelyn said, my one takeaway, networking is a must. Choosing the right people is another. Networking is a must, and that's why I use this opportunity to network. While we're still on, put your business in the chat group. Somebody might be interested to work with you. Don't be afraid to move away from your core expertise and learning new skills. Thanks, Edmond. Critical. Did you know that 50% of all employees and all of us, 50%, based on the World Economic Forum, needs to upskill? That means 1 in every 2 people needs to upskill and learn something new. So that basically means everybody. Diba? Frederick said, keep going. Annalyn said, determination. Lyrie said, find your passion and have a support system. Definitely. I myself, as I shared with you, I needed a mentor. Pivot. From Jay, Raymond said, adaptation. Gerson said, tenacity and resiliency. Be humble enough to learn and unlearn. Yes, learn to adapt to technology. I cannot overemphasize. Everybody has to learn technology. It's like learning to use a phone. It's that basic, guys. Imagine if you don't know how to use a cell phone. So you all have to learn e-commerce and all the other parts of the basic digital technologies. It's that basic. You need it to survive. So please invest in it. Maraming libre. Sa Thames nga pala, libre na nga yun, di ba? So we also, because DTI paid for it, but there's so many free, okay? Time is the best asset we could utilize. How we use, misuse, and abuse it. Jennifer, thank you. Learn to take risks. Never stop learning. Innovative. Knowing how to engage your customers. Creative innovation. Reduce unnecessary risk. Amplify success. Okay, since everybody wants to learn and learn, Adolf, please post our next webinar and when it is. Okay. Since you all want to keep on learning, Adolf. Next batch of Setback to come back is July 14. It is food entrepreneurship. Yan. Yung mga mahilig kumain tulad ko. Food success tips to the pandemic. So we have 4. Lona Lenas, The Fatted Calf, Filipinas, and what's the other one? Aperitif. Okay, for all those in food. July 14. Let's talk about food. Did you take a screenshot already, guys? Take a screenshot. Yan, ha? So July 14. Invite your friends. Okay. Kai, it's in the Q&A. So, with that, guys, thank you for the sharing session. We like to keep it short, diba? 1 hour is good enough, even though I know you want to say because you love hearing my voice. Joke, I know. My dad used to say, bakit yung boses ko hindi tulad ng boses niya? Kasi my dad has a radio talk show voice eh. So, sayang, no? I could have made more money as a radio talk show. Siguro tinalo ko na si Tulfo. But in any case, pagtsagaan nyo na. So guys, I hope you learned something. There's a survey. Can you please answer that so we can make things better the next time, right? And guys, I hope you learned something. And again, please remember, we're a community. We're here to help each other. Diba? Network. I'll see you in our next webinar. Always keep in touch with Thames. Whenever we have anything free or funded by the government, we'll send you guys in our email. So thank you, Nicolo. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Chef. Super inspiring. Thank you, Adolf, for inviting our speakers. So with that, guys, stay safe. And let's all work for a better Philippines. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.